riding through the streets of Accra. Been here with Forson, doing this thing. It's a good ride. One of the things that I was sitting here thinking about, a lot of times I just get all philosophical while riding around and observing. You can just see a lot of different things in Accra and different cities, Lagos and Dakar, and I mean, we can go on and on. Other different cities in West Africa, and of course, different cities in South Africa. And then over in East Africa, Nairobi and Dar es Salaam and all of that. It's but the thing that I thought about was this education. You know, Forson, you might have a perspective on this too. But when it comes to, like, the educational system is Western. I'm looking at the political system and the government system is Western. Yeah, it was like the primary two-party system here in Ghana. Is it primarily two-party system?
Yes, we have a lot of political parties here, but the two main, that's the reason the MPP and the NDC, that's the two main political parties in Ghana here.
Okay. And that's, I mean, before the British came, did they have those political parties?
No.
Yeah. And so the thing is that, and this is what I try to help people understand with this, is that we've all been educated under the same system, whether it's a French system in the Francophone countries, whether it's a British system in the Anglophone countries, whether it's a Portuguese system in the Portuguese countries, or Belgium, or German, or Italian, or whatever country it is, you know, Dutch. I didn't realize how the Danish and the Dutch and the Swiss all were all throughout Ghana. But you know what I think about is how, if you're educated in that system, because what a lot of people do, and this is their excuse, like when people were, the interview we did with you talking about how they would beat people, and you know, and they said, well, if they didn't force you to learn English, you and I couldn't have a conversation. And my thought was, okay, if you have people who think like this, then that's part of the problem, because it's one thing to learn a different language, which we're all for, being bilingual or multilingual, but forcing someone and beating someone to do it, then why not beat them into religion? Why not beat them into whatever else you want them to learn, you know? And so when I heard that, I was like, and I thought these were supposed to be like, a lot of these people, shoot, I don't know, I'm not sure if they're from the West or wherever, but they were actually saying that it was okay to beat people into learning English. So my question was, after that, I said, well, the French don't beat people into learning English. So, because they were like, well, English is the global standard language. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn English. I'm saying learn as many languages as you can. But when somebody beats you into doing it, when they beat you into learning something, and then there are people saying that that is okay, and then they justify it by saying, well, you know, it's for your betterment. You wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't beat you into doing it. Versus using a common sense tactic to encourage it, you know, to say, all right, look, you know, this is how you can make a lot of money. If you learn how to speak like them people, then you learn how to communicate with them. You learn a lot of, you know. But if you're beating somebody into something, and I'm not seeing it translate either. I'm not seeing, you know, it all of a sudden now go to where all of these beatings have translated in all these billions and trillions of dollars worth of, you know, not for the person who's getting the beating, maybe the person who they're communicating with, but, you know, so it's, what is your thought on that when you hear people say that, you know, it's okay to beat? I mean, did that surprise you when you heard that?
It's funny and it's very interesting too, because the moment I heard people saying it's okay for them to beat us, to speak English, they force us to speak. Who does that? Can you go to China and force a Chinese to speak English? Can you go to even let me say, can you go to America and force the people over there to speak French or to speak Chinese? No, we have our own culture. We have our own language. Ali, you can force us to speak our own language. You can force us and beat us to do our own culture, but not someone's culture, not someone's language. You know, that's what you said earlier on. It's good to learn multiple languages. That's fine. But you can't tell me if I fail my own language, it's okay. But if I fail someone's language, then I fail totally. I can't continue my education. Which does that? So those who are saying maybe they are not from this side, so they think it's okay if they beat you to learn English, it's okay. But if they don't know how to speak English, but they are forcing them to speak English, and they have thrown their own language away, and they are forcing them to speak English, I think that they will know how it feels. Because those saying that's what I say. It's funny though, but I have nothing to say. I just wanted to let them know you can't force a Chinese man or you can't force a French man to speak English. No.
Or Tree, for that matter.
Oh, yes. Because who does that? It's never happening anywhere. It's good for you to learn multiple language. It's good. When it comes to Ghana here, we have a lot of languages. Like the language barrier, we have the Ewe, the Mfanti, the Dagomes, the Dagati, a lot. The Ga and the Ashanti tree. So if the one that you prefer, you can learn. We have a lot of people here who can speak all the languages in Ghana here.
Yeah, like seven languages.
Yes.
I mean, they are more.
Exactly, there are more. You see, so it's good, but you can't tell. You cannot come to Ashanti region or Akan, someone who is from Akan, who is an Akan, and you are telling the person to force. If you speak Chi. If you speak Ewe, I'll beat you, but it's okay for you to speak Chi. No, who does that?
Them Catholics.
They have to educate us.
Them Catholics.
They have to educate us that, okay, fine. If you speak English, this is how you are going to do it. If you speak English, it is going to help you communicate with those English-speaking country. If you speak English, it is going to help you do this, do that. So it's okay for you to learn English. That's fine. Can you believe we have the core subject that we learn in this country? English is part, but our Chi, the Ghanaian language, is not part of the core subject. So imagine I am from Ghana and I'm learning Chi. Imagine if I fail Chi, it's okay. By the moment I failed in English, I can't continue my education. I have to go and sit and rewrite the English again.
Well, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of people out there who, I'm telling you in the comments, when the last time they were mocking us and telling us to try to figure out how to communicate with each other, if we didn't speak English. And the point is not saying that speaking English is bad. The point is saying that if you beat someone into speaking a language while telling them not to speak their own native language, that's what the point is. The point is not if somebody shouldn't speak English. The point is the tactic that's used to go about doing it. And the fact that you had people from Africa, from Ghana. Well, one dude, he said he was from Senegal, so I don't know if that counts. There's a French territory. So, but it's like, you stop and you say to yourself, what, you wonder, like you said, who does that? Now, I know the Catholics, that was part of their tactics and how they would treat people. The Pope just apologized, the Pope of the Catholic Church just apologized to indigenous people in Canada behind that foolishness. And, but I think what always strikes me is how many people defend this insolent, wild, crazy behavior and say that it's okay. This is how it's okay to treat people like this. It's okay to do it because the end justifies the means. But you don't see people in China doing that with these other foreign languages, meaning they might have it in some extreme cases. But I'll just use the French and the British. You're not going to see the French like beating people to learn English. That's not going to happen. Again, there's always room for extreme cases, extreme schools, extreme situations, but that's not the French way. The French are so arrogant with their stuff, the French system, that they, as a matter of fact, when I went to Cote d'Ivoire, the people were like, well, looking down on people who spoke English. And that goes back to the hundreds of years worth of French and British rivalries. So it's sad. That again, I think what happens when you get out here and you start seeing things and learning, it really saddens you to see how accepting people are of abuse. And they accuse, I've heard people accuse, like African Americans say, we speak up too much and we don't bow down. And one person was like, well, if you go to Rwanda and you speak out, they're going to do something to you, and that's good. And I'm sitting up there thinking to myself, that mentality is the very mentality that puts people like enslaved. And I mean, it's good. Yeah, it's good. You shouldn't speak up. You shouldn't say anything. You should just be quiet and go with the flow. But yet these people passive aggressively complain behind the scenes about what's wrong and what's not right, but they don't have the balls to go out there and say anything, on their own, because they have been beaten into submission. They have been beaten into silence. They have been beaten into, beaten into silence. Do you see any of that here in Ghana, where people won't speak up because of stuff they see, because they're afraid of being beaten?
About the English?
Well, the English or anything. Are they afraid to speak out if they see something going wrong, like in the government or anything like that? Or do they speak out in Ghana? It seems like they speak out a little more in Ghana.
Oh yes, they do. They do speak a lot in Ghana here. But it has gotten to a point where the generation, the youth, they do not respect anymore. So whatever they are trying to say, even what they are trying to say makes sense. No one is going to listen to them, because at first they have already insulted the leaders, or they have already. So when you want something good, or you want something to be done better, you have to send in your proposal. In your humble opinion, oh please, this is going wrong, and you want this to be like this. But most of the youth in Ghana here, like you were saying, we have two political parties. So let's say if this government is doing something good, the other opposition party, the members will oppose it and say, oh, it's not good, it's not good. You see, that's how. So the moment you start, the youth start talking about something that is going on wrong in this country, no one is going to give ears to them, unless maybe the opposition party or the opposition people are going to give ears. But the current government won't listen to them because they know where they are coming from. That's what is happening in Ghana here.
Okay. So that's what's going on.
Yes.
Well, again, we're going to continue this conversation. I just wanted to drop a little bit in here just as a follow-up to when Forson and I were talking about the beatings in the school, who tried to force people to learn English. Hey.
Let them know.
Yeah, you let them know.
I'm letting you know. You will go to the schools and you will see that they've written "Speak English" on the wall. And when you enter some classrooms, you'll be seeing "Speak English" over there. So it tells you that they are telling us they are forcing us and they are imposing us to speak English. How on earth will you sit in your country? So if you fail someone's language, you can't continue your education. But if you fail yours, it's okay. So those who think it's okay for them to beat us to speak English, think about it. Let's say you are an African here, and they are forcing you don't know how to speak English, but they are forcing you to speak English. So the moment you fail in English, even though you are brilliant, but the moment you fail in English, you can't continue your education. Think about this one and think about yourself. That if you are in our shoes, how are you going to feel?
That's a great question, and there are a lot of people who would have absolutely no problem with it, because that's the mindset they have. They have the mindset of they've been beaten psychologically. They've been beaten, not physically, but they've been beaten to the point where they're cool with whatever somebody does to them, because there's not an uproar. Clearly people are cool with it because there's no uproar from the parents. There's no massive uproar, so somebody's okay with it because it's allowed to continue. Or people just feel that it's hopeless. But the other thing is, I often think about this, because when you're out and you're trying to learn and all of this, and people say that, to your point before, the students were having trouble learning in English, but when it was broken down in Twi, they were able to learn the concepts. Exactly. You said how somebody might be brilliant, but if they fail English, then they can't continue their education. But if they fail their own in native language, then they can keep on with their education. And it's like, the question mark I often have is, who creates these curriculums? Who approves them to be taught to the students? And I think we start digging down that hole, it's going to lead back to imperial powers that are trying to impose the educational system. And the saddest part is that it's 90% of the time, and this is just me in my observation. It comes from people who look like the people who are being taught. So the teachers will be from that place, and the teachers will be will be beating them. And so you typically don't resist as much versus if it was a white lady in there. And the white lady do come in and beat the students too. But if it were a white lady or a white man coming in there and talking about speak English, you would get more resistance. Because people say, well, wait a minute. Well, you might not, based upon how I see people, act in many parts. But it's like, you see this stuff and you say to yourself, what is going on? And and I guess the more people speak out about it, then it has to change. Because there were some people who even said that what you were saying was not true. But then there were others who were like, yep, they do it in Ghana, they do it in Nigeria, they do it in any place that, that the colonial power, I guess where the English colony is present. So anyway, everybody, y'all know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We continue these conversations. These were roadside chats as I cruise through Accra in Ghana. Be sure to subscribe to Maximum Impact with Jay Cameron. Take care. Be safe. Talk to you soon.